Hello, my name is Dr. Paul Cottrell, and I'm going to be going over the updates for the financial markets. I am doing this recording on April 5th, 2026. Tomorrow, the US markets will be open. My understanding is the European markets will be closed, and I believe the Asian markets will be open tonight. So, this update is to give you a heads up of what I think will happen since the news in Iran has been developing, especially the rescuing of the down F-15E pilot and weapon specialist. They both were rescued. That changes the whole dynamic of, what Trump can do. And I want to talk about what potentially could happen in the financial markets because of it. But before I do, please help support the work I do. I do all these videos for free. You can watch these videos on YouTube, Brighteon, Bitchute, and Rumble. You can also hear the audio version on Podomatic and Apple Podcast or on my website under Broadcast Radio. I have audio versions that you can download of all the different episodes that I have done in the last about year and a half. So, with that, please help support the work that I do by sharing the links, asking your social media to follow me, subscribe to all the channels, the YouTube, Brighteon, Bitchute, and Rumble. And if you would like, and if you can, please donate through Stripe, PayPal, or Buy Me a Coffee on my website. You just click the link and you can donate. It's very easy. You can also be a paid member to my Patreon channel or my Substack channel. And you can follow me on X, GETTR, and TikTok. So there's lots of ways to consume the content that I create. All of it's for free. These videos are to inform you about how to improve your health, but also how to navigate through the breaking news, especially during the Trump administration. With that, you can go to my store. I have ebooks. I have ebooks about finance, genomics, artificial intelligence, endocrinology. I also have great supplements that will help to boost up your immune system and slow down the aging process. These are supplements that I take regularly. You can get the structural nano silver toothpaste. This will whiten your teeth, freshen your breath, neutralize, and also improve your gum line. Max 35, Max 14, or Cleanse will help to boost up your immune system. Take a teaspoon a day every day, swish in your mouth, gargle about 20 seconds, and then swallow it. This will boost up your immune system, improve your oral health and your oral pharynx. Structural nano silver gels, you can get it in the tube form or in the quick dispenser called Renew. They're dual purpose. You can put it on a lesion and it will help to heal that lesion, such as a cut, an abrasion, or a minor burn. You can apply it on your skin daily as a daily skincare, as a topical skincare. And if you're not feeling well because of the cold season or someone around you is not feeling well, you can put it on your hands, around your mouth, around your eyes, around your ears, around your nose, and lightly coat your nostrils. It'll stay active for 5.5 hours. I also have structural nano silver soaps. You can get it in lemongrass and peppermint that I have in stock. They have the structural nano silver that will help to neutralize, and these soaps will help to improve your pores for your skin. So you should be using it every day. I also have drops and lozenges for the cold season and the allergy season. They're very effective. They're made from structural nano silver. You can get it in blueberry, honey and lemon, cherry, manuka honey, and orange splash. I have probiotics in a veggie cap form, and I also have it in a powdered form. With a good probiotic, you're going to improve your immune system and reduce inflammation, help with your metabolism. And the multivitamin, taking this multivitamin is easy to digest, and it has the multivitamins that you need to slow down the aging process. It has vitamin A and C and D3, E, B1, B2, B3, B6, folate, B12, biotin, and many others, including iodine and zinc. So take this every day. It's easy to digest. C60, you can get it in a 2 ounce, a 4 ounce, or an 8 ounce configuration. You can also get it in extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, or MCT coconut oil. And this is a very strong antioxidant. You take a teaspoon a day every day. And this will soak up the free radicals and help boost up your immune system, your endocrine system, help reduce plaque formation, help with brain function. By soaking up free radicals, you're lowering inflammation, you're reducing stress in your tissues, and you're increasing your energy levels because you're improving the mitochondrial health of the cell. Vitamin D3 helps with bone density. It also is a gene expression cofactor, so your cells will perform properly. It's very important to take every day. Vitamin C and magnesium helps with immune system, skin, and brain function. Magnesium is very important for brain function. Omega-3 helps with cardiovascular health, brings down inflammation, and helps you to control your lipid profile. Ashwagandha root helps to control cortisol levels and blood glucose levels, very important. Goodnight formula will help you get into 3 to 5 cycles of REM sleep and deep sleep so you consolidate memory, detoxify your central nervous system, and be well rested. By getting good sleep, you're slowing down the aging process. This has tryptophan, melatonin, and GABA. This probiotic is the powdered version of the probiotics. So you can get the VeggieCap version on the other page. Resveratrol will help with the youthful gene expression and also soak up free radicals. Vitamin B complex helps to boost up your energy levels, increase your cellular metabolism, and protect your neurons. Turmeric brings down inflammation, soaks up free radicals. Magnesium and zinc boosts up that immune system and helps with brain function. Lignans brings down inflammation and soaks up free radicals, helps the immune system and endocrine system. Collagen is very important for your skin health, nails, and hair. It also helps with bone density and musculature. Digestive enzyme complex helps to break up carbohydrates and lipids to reduce the load on your pancreas. Clarity factor allows you to focus on tasks, and over time, you're improving your neural network, so you're thinking faster and have better memory. Olive leaf extract helps with the immune system and your cardiovascular system. Zeolite helps to get rid of heavy metals, toxins, and chemicals. You take 3 small drops underneath your tongue daily, drink it with filtered water, and it'll allow you to urinate these toxins out of your body within 6 to 8 hours. This zeolite is safe and effective to detoxify your body. Myotrol will help to build muscle and maintain muscle, especially if you're 40 years of age or older. It helps with the gene expression to build and maintain muscle. Boomer Boost will help with your brain function, cardiovascular health, metabolism, your energy levels will increase, your musculature will improve. It's a great supplement to take to slow down the aging process. Gladiator barley and heirloom barley detoxify your body, soak up free radicals, and brings down inflammation. In addition, gladiator barley will also help with building up strength. You can stack gladiator barley with Boomer Boost or heirloom barley with Boomer Boost to get additional benefits like controlling your A1C levels. Collagen will help to remodel your joints. Very important if you have a sports injury or arthritis. And Super Strong Relief is a topical that you apply it on a bruise, a sprain, pulled muscle, even tension headache. Apply it topically and it'll relieve your pain. It'll also help to relieve pain from arthritis. And I have anti-aging boxes. I have these anti-aging boxes and longevity boxes, the ones that I have in stock, are a great way to purchase a group of supplements that I've curated at a discounted price to be able to have you go on your anti-aging and longevity journey. So take a look at those that I have. And I have course material on immunology and pulmonology for only $25. You get lots of videos and PDFs about different topics within pulmonology or immunology. You get a unique password. You'll be able to log into your class anytime you want, watch the videos and download and study the material. You learn a lot about how the human body works. So with that said, please go to my store, the-studio-reykjavik.com, and help support the work that I do by creating the great products that I offer. And by stacking these products, you'll be able to slow down the aging process and have more vitality and longevity. Now, what I'm going to do is share the screen for the chart for the market. Okay. This chart is SPY, which is the ETF for the S&P 500. What I have here is a fib sequence from the low to the high, going all the way back to last year. And we've been bouncing around the 23% retracement. And that is about 645. And so we've been bouncing around. We did go below it because of what was going on in Iran, but then we came back up. And so this 645 is a really important support level right now. It closed on Thursday at 655. Now we have, if this 23% retracement fails and is no longer a support level, the next support level, major support level, is 614. 614. But another support level, if that breaks, would be about 600 and then 588. 588 is actually a stronger support level than 600. Reason being is it is the 50% retracement. I don't think it'll get down that low. So right now, short term, we have a support level of 645, and potentially, if that breaks, 614 is another support level. Both of those are very strong support levels. Resistance level, the resistance level right now is going to be 660. You can kind of see it's been playing around with that 660 mark, and it's trying to get above it. That could break pretty easily if we have good news from the Middle East. Now, when we have news about escalation or the strait may be clogged up and ships not moving, normally what happens is the equities will go down and oil will go up. What was interesting on Thursday was there did seem to have some sort of positive correlation between equities going up and oil going up, which is not normal. And that usually is a sign that the complex systems are changing their dynamics. So it could be that we're starting to see the signs of people in the equity market actually taking the opportunity to buy. I still have a long-term target by year end of 740 to 780 for SPY. And that would translate to 7,400 to 7,800 for the S&P 500. All right. So what is happening here is because we did break the 23% retracement, there were a lot of people that ended up buying into the market. You'll see the same thing happen if we touch off of the 614. My recommendation is that you should purchase equities, even if it starts to fall a little bit more, because you're going to lose the opportunity to get back in if it starts to climb. And it'll climb fast once we start hearing good news from the Middle East. Now, oil, WTI futures, the ticker is CL. And right now we're looking at the May futures. The close on Thursday was 112. Now, this was before the down pilot. This was before the rescue of the crew. Um, so, there's going to be a lot that's going on. In addition, this was before further acknowledgement of the region that more ships are going through the Strait of Hormuz. Certain countries are negotiating with Iran to be able to get their ships through. So my understanding is approximately 38 ships per day are going through now. So it's starting to slowly get unclogged. Now, Trump has stated, open the Strait of Hormuz, or we're going to hit power plants and water facilities. The question is, what is his definition of open the Strait of Hormuz? 100% open, where there's free flow of navigation? Or does he mean 50% or 30%? That is left to interpretation. Now, if you take what was going on with the slow opening of the strait, that should bring down oil prices slowly. But with Trump warning Iran that he may be hitting them on Monday, that also will bolster up the price of oil. And so it may be a wash. WTI probably will trade above 100 when the futures market starts to open up tonight. So I don't think anyone really knows. Is it going to, stay at 112? Is it going to go down to 110 or maybe even 108 for WTI? Will it go above 112? No one knows for sure. But if Trump signals that he is going to de-escalate this quickly, then oil will go below 100. This is there's so much event risk within trading energy markets. It's very hard to position yourself if you're using risk management. It's really, really hard to deal with the news. It's so volatile. Now, my take on this is that if we look at the fib sequence, all right, going from the low in December, going all the way to the high that we had in late February, which was 119. All right, there's this fib sequence. Now, the 23% retracement from the high, which didn't last for very long because it's a long whisker candle, there's a support level at 104 at this moment. The close on Thursday was 112. So there's a support level at the 23% retracement. Now, more realistically, because the support level of the 23% is somewhat skewed because of this very long whisker of that peaked at 119. It's probably closer, a really good support level at 94. Now this one is 94.84 is the 38%. So around 94 is probably a really good support level. So when we start hearing the news that things are getting better in the Middle East, you could potentially have a 12 to 15 to $18 drop in WTI. And this is the reason why there's a lot of traders that are a little worried about going long oil. All right, so very strong support level at 94. A little bit weaker support level at 104 because of this highly skewed whisker of 119. Okay. Now, if bad news comes out in the Middle East, the United States is not doing well, a ship is hit, or airplanes are knocked out of the sky, or we do ground troops and there's a lot of casualties, this thing's going to skyrocket, and we're talking 120 now. Okay. So we have a resistance level at 120, and we have a major support level at 94. There's a large range here, and that's because of the volatility. And you can see the candles. I mean, energy trades normally like this. This is all this is all news of news risk in the energy markets because of the war in the Middle East. And the last time I saw something like this was this sustained, these types of sustained candles. The last time something like this happened was actually during Lehman, where you have sustained large candle movements. And it's very hard to do risk management, especially in the currency market during Lehman. So this kind of reminds me of the currency market fluctuations during the Lehman crash. Now, the currency markets currently are very stable. Actually, the dollar is somewhat of a safe haven. The euro is stable at 115 approximately, and the Japanese yen is stable at 159, 160. So currencies are stable. The 10-year is trading at 4.3. That's somewhat stable. So the big volatility is oil. Now, the longer the war happens, the more disruption in the economy will take place, and oil will stay elevated. The faster it de-escalates, this will start to trade down into this range here in the probably the mid 88, like 85 range. But the question is how long will it take for LNG and some of the refineries, some of the processing plants, some of the ports to be rebuilt that have been hit by Iran to get flows going at normal rates pre-war? We don't know. So there's a lot of event risk here. So to summarize, I would say that 120 is a resistance level, and that would happen if we do ground forces, bad news, more planes are shot out of the sky, something negative. If things seem to be more positive, we probably will start to see this break 104 and hover in the 94 range. Now the question is what happens when Trump starts hitting the facilities like energy generation, water treatment plants? I suspect, and if it's successful, which it probably should be, I suspect that traders will view this as a means that this is probably going to start to de-escalate. Now, what would happen if there was ground forces to take Karg Island or some of the other islands? That's a little bit more risky, and therefore traders may actually start bidding oil up, and it may start approaching 120. But it's so event risk driven. And the moment that oil seems to be creeping up above 100, Trump says something to try to push it back down. So there's a lot of jawboning that's taking place also in the energy markets. Now, That's my assessment for oil. Now, natural gas, that's been wanting to go down. It's been trading below 3, which is at this time of the year makes sense. It probably wants to go to 2.5, but because of what's happening in the Middle East, it's staying a little bit elevated. There's news about the United States shipping LNG to Asia, and that would reduce our inventory for natural gas, and therefore would try to bid natural gas up. So this is part of the reason why it's kind of staying a little bit elevated. Natural gas is a little bit elevated. It probably wants to go down a little bit more. But I think that there's more event risk with oil than with natural gas for the United States futures. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing natural gas drift down to 2.7, 2.65 this week. But if there's some really bad news that, ground troops or the United States is having difficulty in the region, or LNG plants are blown up by Iran, then you're going to see this get above 3. So in summary here, 3 is a resistance level, and that resistance level would break if there's some really bad news that comes out of the Middle East. Most likely, if the war stays the way it is right now, I suspect that this natural gas will go up and down, but want to naturally drift to 2.7. TYD is an ETF that's 3 times leverage, that is bullish for the 7 to 10 year treasuries. So it's the belly of the curve. So if the price of the treasury bonds go up, then this ETF will go up. If the price of the bonds go down, then this ETF will go down. Now, for people that don't know, as bonds go down in price, yields go up. And this is the reason why it's so important to watch the yield on the 10-year. Right now it's at 4.3. If the yield goes down to 4.2 or 4.0, then this will go up. If the yields start to creep back up to 4.4 or 4.5, then this will go down. Now, this was steadily going down because of the announcement by the Federal Reserve that they were going to hold rates and not lower rates. In addition, the Federal Reserve is concerned about inflation expectation. So therefore, the yield on the 10-year went up, and this ETF went down. So if we start hearing more news about inflation due to the oil shock in the world, then we may actually see this ETF go down. If we start to hear that positive news, the war in Iran is starting to de-escalate, then this should go up. So we have a resistance level at 24.83, and we have a support level at 24.24. And you can see that, these candles, they do move, but they don't move in absolute dollar amount too much. So you'd have to have a large position to capture that 50-cent spread or whatever. Okay. Now, another way to look at the bond market is to take a look at the 30-year yield and the 10-year yield and what's going on with the Federal Reserve rate. So we have 3 curves here on the top, and then we have the spread between the 30 and the 10. So the 10-year is trading at it's trading at 4.3 for the yield, and the 30-year is trading at 4.88. Now, you take that spread and that spread is point 0.5 or so. So 0.5 at 8. So almost 6, 0.6. Now, if in this spread can change based on movement. If the 10-year is moving up more faster than the 30, then the spread will come down. And that's what was happening here. The spread was starting to come down, but the 10-year was climbing faster than the 30. And here the Federal Reserve is holding rates. All right. So this is another way of looking at the potential of what's going to happen with the belly of the curve. If this keeps on continuing up, then you will notice that this will continue to start to fall. Okay. So, you have to pay attention to what's going on here. This spread going from, let's say, March, the beginning of March. Let's take a look at what was going on at the very beginning of March. See, it started falling. So this big fall here is due to this climb. And see, this is starting to come back down. It went above 4.4 for the 10-year. Well, if you go over here, that is right here. And when it started to go down to 4.3, you started to see the ETF 7 to 10 years start to tick back up. So this movement from here to here is represented from here to here. Okay, now VIX. Now VIX is interesting because you can see that since the beginning of the year, the stress for volatility is starting to increase. Now it closed at 23.87, right? So below 25. But you can see that it's starting to creep up more and more and more. It's not like the normal pattern where there's a little bit of stress and it spikes and it comes back down really quick. And it spikes, comes back down really quick. What you're seeing is a buildup. It spikes up, comes down, spikes up some more, comes down, but it keeps on building up. You can see a bunch of stress building up because of the war. Now, it's peaked at near the beginning of March at just above 30 or at 30, 35, right? And then came back down. And each peak, the subsequent peak was at around 38 or so, or at 28. So it was like 35, and then the next peak was around 28, and it came back down and then jumped back up above 30, came back down and jumped back up above 30 and came back down. So depending on what happens in the news in the Middle East, we're going to see this start to tick up or down. If it's negative news, then this thing's going to be above 30. But my concern here is that I suspect that the probability that there's increased probability, especially if we do ground forces, there's increased probability that we're going to have a VIX of 45. Now, the reason why I get to that number is you take this point here, it's going all the way back to 2024, and you draw a line from this point to this point and extrapolate it, it gets to approximately 45. So this stress is building up. If there is further escalation where the strait is clogged up or energy facilities are knocked out by Iran in the GCC countries, then we're probably going to see a spike to 45. Now, what would that mean for SPY, for the S&P 500 ETF? That would mean that we're talking about, depending on when it happens, we're talking about testing 614, maybe even testing 588. But if that does happen for the market here, if it spikes to 45, buy into the equities. Don't be afraid. That would be a perfect opportunity to get into the market and deploy some new capital. But there's definitely a buildup of stress in the system. And that buildup of stress, if it doesn't get released, is going to test this 614, maybe possibly even the 588. But remember, we're talking very strong support levels, 38% retracement and 50% retracement. On the S&P 500, that's pretty supportive right there. Okay, now Boyle is a ETF longing natural gas, and you've noticed that since the beginning of the war, natural gas has been kind of trying to hover. It's been wanting to go down before the war, and then it's kind of hovering around the 20 mark, and then started to fall. Now there's a support level at 1489. It's trading at 15.1. So it's very just above the support level. Remember, Boyle is longing natural gas. If natural gas's trend of wanting to go down, then we should see it break the 1489 mark. So that would mean that, this ETF is going to continue to go down. But there may be a potential spike, where natural gas futures is trading at 3.1 or 3.2 because of what's going on in the Middle East. Some negative news happens. Then you may see some of these candles come back up to closer to like 18, maybe even to 20. But I think the natural trend for Boyle is to continue to go down in the near term. So that's my big takeaway here. Just to go back to the oil. These candles are so big, it's very hard to do proper risk management because you can get blown out if you're doing stop losses, either going long or going short. So it's really hard to do this with proper risk management. Now, you could be lucky and you just long oil and you can make a boatload of money, or short oil and you wait it out and make a boatload of money. But it has a lot of event risk, a lot of event risk. And this reminds me of the days of currency trading during the Lehman crisis and the aftershock during the TARP days from the Federal Reserve. Every time the Federal Reserve opened their mouth, it moved the market, and the pit move in these different currencies was just the pit spread was just super wide, and it was extremely stressful. And it reminds me of those times because Trump can say one thing and then that moves oil up, and then 4 or 5 hours later he says something else and it moves oil down. It's a very volatile kind of situation. So that's my takeaway about what's going on in the market. Please help support the work that I do. All these videos are for free. I'm trying to give you a little sense of how I see where the market is. I have positions in natural gas shorting. I also have positions in oil where I'm shorting, and I have some small positions longing. I feel that oil will go down in the near term more than it'll go up. And that's the reason why I have adjusted my balancing of my positions. So with that, please go to my store, the-studio-reykjavik.com. Get the great products that I offer. Make sure you use discount 5, all caps discount 5, and you get $5 off any order. And share the links and ask your social media to follow me so I can reach a larger audience. I greatly appreciate it. If you pay attention to what I have to say, you will benefit from what's going on in the news. But also, if you take the supplements and stack them the way I've been telling you to stack them in these different videos, you will be able to slow down the aging process and boost up the health of your body and improve the vitality. So thank you for listening and have a nice day.